Hi, and welcome to Black on the Mat, the space where culture, community, and yoga intersect through our lived experiences. We're your host. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Saisha. Join us on this journey to bring representation and shed light on often overlooked stories on the yoga mat.
We're creating an accessible roadmap into yoga for Black people, building a community in this predominantly white space.
And letting folks already into yoga know that we're here.
Can you believe this is our last episode of the first season?
I really can't. It's been such a journey getting here. Just from original conversations and not really knowing where this is going to, finishing a season and planning the next and having real life things lined up. It's quite the journey, quite the jump.
I think it's so fitting for us to end on Juneteenth. I don't know about you, but Juneteenth is everything to me. Um, my mom and dad, not my mom and dad, my mom is from Texas. And so Juneteenth, with it being a Galveston situation, like it was majorly celebrated in our household. It was like a major, it's my 4th of July. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really celebrate Independence Day because my people weren't free on that day, but we were free on Juneteenth.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I feel like yoga is such a form of liberation, but I'm curious for you, like, how do you connect like the ideal of Juneteenth and freedom with yoga? How has yoga brought freedom to your life?
Well, so I'm so glad you asked me this. I feel so prepared to answer this question. I taught and I'm continuing to teach a few corporate yoga sessions for Juneteenth. And so I'm glad to be able to like impart some of that knowledge on people who definitely were not considering Juneteenth necessarily a major holiday for themselves. But yes, the the concept of Juneteenth, I was raised by a very pro-Black family. Like I've told you, my aunts and uncles arrested for protests and things like that. Like they're in. So it's definitely a holiday that I've had present in my life. But I will say the last few years, it was only instated as a holiday in 2021, a few years ago.
Yeah, that's national, but I kind of don't like that it's a national holiday because no, listen, as my hair drips everywhere, I feel like I just got out the pool and I so didn't. Um, I'm fearful it's going to turn into a Cinco de Mayo.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, very washed out. I mean, I will say that that has definitely happened. I've seen the Juneteenth sales. I've
I
seen,
cringe. What the
yeah.
F are you selling? Like, what are you selling? Barbecue ribs? I don't know. What are you selling? Dominoes? What are you selling? I'm
Right, what's blackening this up right here?
Yeah, it just so that's my fear with it being a national holiday. I've been fine with it being what it is, and because we've always celebrated, I mean, there's a huge Juneteenth celebration every year in San Francisco, and it has nothing to do with, oh, now it's a holiday, let's celebrate. So we've been celebrating for years.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely always like just a moment of celebration, a family gathering, another time to come together. The concept of like, this is how long we had to wait for freedom, like that awareness of the space. And so to actually answer your question, right, to tie this into yoga, like the overall act of getting to know your body and learning ways to release stress from your body, to cope with the things that you're going through, to find power and command over and strength in places that you didn't experience or don't necessarily naturally come to you. Like finding more of that within yourself is what yoga provides as a level of liberation to me, right? Like that sense, like I was absolutely never supported in a concept of, oh, Seisha's going to be so good at sports, but the concept of my body being strong and able to move in certain ways, I help athletes. I help people that are in these spaces. It is a matter of like getting to know your body better and in a way that it really can work for and with you and allow you to be, just be yourself, be um a representation of like what it is that you can do and your ability to self-regulate and come back to the world as whatever you are.
It's
What about
interesting because you come from a physical perspective, and like when you were saying something earlier, it was like I can't remember exactly what you said, but I was like, "Ooh, that was good. That was good." You were talking about, finally being free and having that freedom. And yoga was that for me. We've talked about it in previous episodes of how I thought yoga was trash. I've had a conversation with someone else recently. They're like, "Really? What?" I'm like, "Yes." However, I posted the other day about how yoga is a safe space for every emotion. And yoga for me was that freedom to feel safe to where I can like, okay, I can process these moments. I can process these emotions that I didn't even know were inside of me. Yoga gave me that freedom to be me. Because once I was able to process those emotions and be aware how I was showing up in a lack mindset, showing up in this feeling of self doubt and not being worthy, yoga made me realize, "No, sweetie, come through. You are great. You are beautiful. Your birthright is abundance." And that's what the freedom yoga gave to me.
right? We have this natural sense, and we talked about that in what was the episode? We were talking about the alignment and understanding
Relationships one. I think that was it.
yoga and relationships, understanding your alignment with the universe, with the world, with the people around you, and with yourself, right? Like that. If I can get to the center of who I am, if I can be so tethered to who I am and who I'm supposed to be, and my birthright of abundance, if
Mhm.
I can be that and stay close to that, then the foolishness that's out here on these ends, it can't grab me, it can't take me away from this space, not in the ways that it could when I was distracted or when I just had no idea where my center was.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I love about yoga. I think for me, it has been my liberation. If I could say one thing liberated me from the shackles of the shoulds, the shackles of conditioning,
Hmm.
it was yoga. And I didn't see it coming. That's why we wanted to start this podcast. That's why I feel like people need, let me rephrase that, our people, especially on Juneteenth. I love having Alicia on talking about yoga and Christianity because I get even from all my clients, especially my yoga therapy clients, like, oh, I'm Catholic or I'm Christian. Like, I don't really, that's another religion. I'm like, it's not a really another religion. Listen to this episode. She
Hmm.
breaks it down so beautifully. My question to you is, what's another episode that you love that was just kind of about liberating or felt like it would help other people get into this practice?
I think I had a great time having the guys on, having on Clyde and Marcus, talking about just because I am passionate about men on the mat, black men on the mat. That was one of the first conversations that I had with Clyde ever. That it is so important that it's not just women and black women finding ourselves back here, but us on both sides, like
Mhm.
finding that space for ourselves and for each other. If I can be more empathetic, if I can be more open to process my emotions, to physically be in a space where I am just moving with people that look like me, whether I know them or not, or and maybe that's a virtual space, right? Maybe that's the internet, that's how we connect, but it's still feeling that level of representation, and like in a way that men don't feel so welcome to yoga, especially men of color, because people of color don't feel welcome, as we stated, all in individual ways, not only them but pretty much every guest that we've had, right? Like that we don't feel welcome in this space, which is exactly why we need to be rolling out the red carpet for each other and pulling each other in and like finding that new way to get into your body, to get into yourself, and to reconnect with like who you are, where you came from.
Yeah.
What would you say was the most fun you had in an episode of Black on the Mat?
There was a time, I even know what it was. You made me like want to snort. I forgot. I don't even know. All I know is you were talking about something. I'm like, did she just say that? Did she just I
Was it when
remember like,
you used the mic and said white people?
I think it
Was
was.
it?
'Cause I was like, oh, I was like clutching my imaginary pearls. I'm like, what is she?
We have to find the clip, but that was one of the very first episodes because um in that episode we were talking about just like starting yoga and doing yoga and feeling welcome in the space, like I just said. And it's like, oh, well, you feel like yoga is just for white people. And you were like, white people? White. Like, just that's the space that's been created here in American culture, in the way that it has been taught to us and given to us in this, like you said, mostly physical asana practice in the gym as a way to work out, as a way to look cute, to what outfits to wear. But it's not just that. Like, this is a genuine physical practice. This is like regulating your nervous system. This is finding physical alignment. And it is so degraded in so many of those spaces.
Oh yeah. Well, that goes back to my second one, which was when I don't know, I was stuck on the song "They Not Like Us," and I think I started the episode I was like, "They not like us." Part of me didn't want to do today. I was like, again, they not like us because they're not. What about you? What was your favorite funny moment of the podcast episodes that we've done thus far?
Um, I would definitely say, I guess both of us kind of laughing at ourselves as the concept of like a guru. Like, I am not a leader. I'm not, I mean, I'm a leader, I'm a light worker, I
Oh,
am a but like
gurus.
guru. Like, hail me.
Wait, I'm ready for my guru-ness.
Great, exalted. Like, no, I and like that's just not our style, right? Like, and I do feel like that is a white people thing, right? Like this concept of like claiming the title and so much and knowledge, and you've earned this when you haven't earned anything, and just, it's just foolishness.
It goes a whole other level, which I'm glad we were on the same page. But I feel like we were on the same page on almost everything. The one thing we weren't on the same page was on online yoga. And I'm okay with that. I love that we can have this conversation where you have your opinion, I have my opinion, but we're still cool.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. There's just so much that one, yoga offers, two, online yoga does in fact offer, uh, but just the perspectives on it. We're allowed to disagree and laugh about it and continue to have our own practices, because that's the thing too. Another thing we actually blatantly disagree on every single episode is the kind of yoga that we do.
Oh,
And that doesn't mean that we genuinely disagree about how yoga should be practiced. It's just we do very different things. And to have that more spiritual, energetic side and more physical and movement side, like,
you
you're
need both.
allowed to do it all, right? You're allowed to do it all. You're allowed to appreciate whatever you have for both. But we don't appreciate have if we had to switch schedules for classes this week, we would not want to do
No, I would never want to teach a class because I would teach it, but they get a whole other situation.
Listen, and I don't know what they would get in Kundalini. So
I give you a script. I mean, I would give you an actual Kriya because it has to be a certain number and movements and eye movement and everything is like, really clear.
and they would get this. And lift the hands to 45 degrees.
It says breath of
It says,
fire. I'm not sure what that is. Well, who is a lighter?
who has a lighter too?
Who's
Just
a
I got
lighter?
nothing. I got nothing. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be the best. And I know that. But that's again like what there is to offer from taking different kind of classes, talking to different kind of teachers. I think that was one of my surprisingly favorite episodes too, because I felt like we had such interesting conversations with a lot of people. But having Kat on a few weeks ago and talking about like that feeling of like, I need to go to yoga training. I'm compelled. I need to do it. I just need to be in a training. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. I resonate with that feeling, but it's so far away from me.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think that was a good episode because I also listened to her talk about going through it twice. Because I would have never thought to go through yoga teacher training twice. But her reasons for doing it, I thought was great. I really loved also the conversation with Timothy. I felt when he led us through that guided meditation and that mindfulness practice, I was like, oh, I'm zenned out. I don't know about
Hmm.
you, but I definitely
Right.
was.
We're gonna end the episode right there. All
Hmm.
right. Good night, everybody. And and honestly, I feel like that's what the end of a yoga class feels like for for me and for most of the people that I work with. And like most of the time, like every when I attend a class, I'm like, I could just go to bed right now.
Yep.
And like that's the kind of peace that I'm looking for here.
So, what are you hoping people got out of season one? What liberation do you want people to get out of season one? As we liberate ourselves for a pause, as we get ready for season two.
I really hope that people just have gotten the chance to see, like we said in the beginning, that we are here. That this is a chance to connect with so many different types of people, different levels of representation,
Mhm.
different types of yogis, different levels of mindfulness. Like there, from all the people that we've had on and all the conversations that we've had, there's a space for you to enter yoga.
Yeah,
And hopefully you've seen it, you've heard it, you've felt welcomed into it by hearing what we and our friends have had to say. What would you say?
for me, I feel like I want people to know that we're here. I mean, we say this in our intro that we're here because we showed we're here in different ways. We showed that men are here. We showed that, people are here of all different colors, different sizes. We're here doing yoga with we. We're doing yoga with Christianity. We're doing yoga all these different ways. We're breathing. We talked about so many different ways. And the fact that yoga is not just this one thing that you saw at the community center. It's not. I feel like we've done what we needed to do with episode one. I feel like we've talked about the cost of wellness. We talked about the misconceptions. We talked about bringing spirituality. I love having Faith on the show, Faith Hunter, who is, well known in the yoga community, especially as an African American yogi. She's well known as well. I just feel like I'm proud of what we've done and I'm excited where we're going.
Yes. No, me too. I know there are honestly people that when we started this, when we first had the conversation, that we came up with lists and names of people, we still haven't gotten to all those people.
We will.
We will. We've got, I mean, at least half of season two lined up and written out. And I mean, I think that that's the thing too. I usually we come with questions at the end, but I would love to just throw out here right now that if you have suggestions or questions or things like that where you would like us to discuss more, it might seem weird or simple or silly, but it also might be something you just can't find information about online, just like we couldn't find information about it online. And so we've created this space and other spaces. So please ask those questions because we would love to know and we would love to have better reasons and good reasons to connect with new people and other yogis. And like I said, we have so many of those ideas already lined up.
We're talking about the future of the fact that we have these new episodes coming up. Once we come back to season two, we have people who are lined up, but we also have a retreat lined up that we're going to be working on.
Yes. We are working on those details now, coming up with those decisions. And there is a retreat interest form down in the links below so that you can get on that list and you'd be the first to find out more details as they come out.
Perfect. So while we're taking a pause, are you doing anything special during our pause?
Well, this summer I have I'll be teaching at a retreat with Black Women's Yoga Co. In the Catskills in New York. I'll be in New York for a little bit. Um, and but that's visiting home. Maybe I'll have some events. You can definitely make sure you check check my page for things if they pop up because I am known to put something on last minute and pop up in Brooklyn somewhere. What about you? What do you have on the line?
I will be attending a International Association of Yoga Therapists training or conference, which is going to be really cool. So just going deeper in that, going deeper and having clients as well as doing a workshop probably around, I know I'm doing a Reiki 1 or 2 workshop in August, probably doing another Kundalini Yoga workshop around that same time. They're doing a retreat for a private group in Curacao.
Ooh.
And preparing for a birthday. So we'll see what September brings, but assume a girl is not going to be in this country.
And I love it. And again, remember, you could be out there with us very, very, very soon. So make sure you get those details in that link. Um,
Before we go, I just want to say I appreciate you as my co-host. Like I couldn't imagine when I came up with this ideal of doing this podcast, I was like, there's only one other person I wanted to be the co-host. So I'm just grateful for you. And I just wanted you to know that I'm grateful for you as my co-host.
I am, see, I'm gonna cry. Um, and thank you for thinking of me. I am glad that we just connected, we reconnected because we had already known each other for a bit, but then like you were genuinely direct about reaching out and wanting this. And I love that. Um I feel like women, and this is a part of like what I'm learning about what's going on in my business and things like that too, that I feel like women, once they have achieved certain things and become like a leader in their own way, a teacher, a administrator, whatever it is, and maybe that's a mom, right? Maybe that's a, somebody that's running and operating, whatever. I don't really have time for subtle. What are you here for? I'm not going to see it. My radar is too big, like it's too high. I don't have the time for the little blips. If you just wanted this, if you were just interested in this, cool. You wanted to do it and you said, this is the idea that I have. What do you think? Would you be in? And we had one brainstorm session and it was like, this is perfect. We need to do it all. It all made sense. It started to come together. And we've been in it for the long haul. And that I appreciate. I appreciate you coming and being a part of the journey and understanding that the ups and downs happen. And I think honestly that this is what yoga has given us,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have been able to just not be judgmental to ourselves or each other. Oh, crap. I didn't do this. Okay, no worries. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much. You're the best. Hey, I know it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, but I need to push our meeting back like 20 minutes or whatever. That's fine. That's okay. Like, it's very easy to work from this space where we are able to express ourselves and just be comfortable here, which is the opposite of what a workplace is usually like, unfortunately.
Well, I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm looking forward to the guests that we're not going to talk about, but we know we have some big hitters on that are coming on, so we're not going to say anything. So if you are listening to this and you are just catching up on season 1, there's hella episodes that came before this one to catch up on. So make sure you catch up during the summer season while you're on the beach. Maybe you're at the gym. Maybe you're just hanging out by the pool. But listen to episodes and we'll catch you on the rebound in season 2.
Yes, yes. We will see more and you'll see more of us.
Yes.
Okay?
All right.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you for joining us today on Black on the Mat.
Let's continue connecting, sharing our stories, and sowing the benefits of having a yoga practice in your life.
Subscribe to Black on the Mat on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
I'm Saisha, and you can find me at Thick Thigh Yoga on all social media platforms and thickthighyoga.com.
I'm Danielle, and you can find me at Hellowell with Danielle on IG, YouTube, and hellowellwithdanielle.com.